Hey, welcome! So, if you're diving into modern web development, you know it can feel, well, pretty chaotic. Today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're going to connect all those confusing dots and give you a super clear path from total chaos to actually writing some code.
Does this look familiar? Yeah, this is pretty much what it feels like, right? It's just a sea of jargon. You see these terms like use state, virtual DOM, and middleware, and you know they're important. But that big picture, it just feels totally out of reach. It's like someone dumped a box of puzzle pieces on your desk, but forgot to give you the picture on the box.
And that's the real question, isn't it? How do we get from this jumble of words to actually building something that works? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to build that picture piece by piece, and we're going to start with one single, really powerful idea.
To make sense of all this, we have to simplify. We're going to boil down all of modern web development to one core rule. Seriously, this is the mental model that once you really get it, it changes how you see everything.
And here it is. This is the prime rule. Just think of it like a simple cause and effect loop. A user clicks a button, that's an action. That action changes some piece of data your app is keeping track of. We call that data state. And then, when the state changes, the user interface just automatically updates to show it. That's it. That's the entire game.
And this brings us to a really crucial idea. Where does our information actually live? Think of your app's data, its state, as your own private notebook. It holds the one single source of truth. The screen the user sees, what we call the DOM, that's just a public whiteboard that shows whatever's in your notebook. You change the notebook and boom, the whiteboard updates for everyone to see.
Okay, so with that core rule in our heads, let's start putting together our workshop. We're going to look at the essential tools, not as some random list of stuff to install, but as specific solutions to problems we actually need to solve. First up is Node.js. This is the foundation. It's the actual workshop that lets us run JavaScript, not just in a browser, but right on our own computer, so we can build and manage our project. All of the powerful development tools we're going to use need this environment to even run.
And I love this analogy because it illustrates its role so perfectly. See, Node isn't the meal itself. It's the professional-grade kitchen. It gives us the space and all the high-powered equipment we need to stop, cooking over a campfire and start building a real application. So, if Node.js is our kitchen, how do we get our ingredients? We can't cook without them. That's where NPM, the Node Package Manager, comes in. It's our direct line to a massive grocery store of code.
And this is probably the simplest way to remember the relationship between the two. NPM is our personal shopper. It goes out and fetches all the pre-written code libraries we need, like React itself, so we can just focus on cooking our own unique meal. Now, our shopping list is a real file. It's called package.json, and it tells NPM exactly what to get. And just like a real chef's list, it separates the dependencies. Those are the ingredients that actually end up on the user's plate from the dev dependencies. Those are the kitchen tools, the ovens, the blenders that we use to cook but never actually serve to the customer.
Okay, one last essential tool for our workshop. As we're cooking up our application, we're going to try new recipes, make changes, and let's be honest, sometimes we're going to burn the toast. We need a way to save our progress and undo our mistakes without having to start over from scratch. And that is where Git comes in.
Git is our safety net. It takes a snapshot of our code every single time we commit a change, creating this complete history book of our entire project. If we ever completely break something, we can just instantly travel back in time to a version that we know worked. It's a lifesaver.
All right, our workshop is all set up. We've got our kitchen, we've got our ingredient delivery service, and we have our history book. Now, we need the engine, the powerful engine that's actually going to manage our UI and bring that prime rule to life. Let's talk about React.
This is React's main job, right here. It's to masterfully and, most importantly, efficiently handle that state-to-UI pipeline that we talked about at the beginning. It just sits there, watching our data, our state, and the second it changes, React figures out the absolute best way to update the screen.
And it's so incredibly efficient because it doesn't just, tear down the whole screen and build a new one every time. No, it uses something called a virtual DOM. Think of it like a blueprint of the real UI. When the state changes, React makes a new blueprint, compares it to the old one, finds the tiniest possible difference, and then only updates that one little part of the real screen. It's brilliant.
And this brings us right back to our whiteboard analogy. See, you can create regular variables and write in your private notebook all day long, but React?
It doesn't care. It only pays attention to one special kind of data, state. When you update state, you're not just writing on paper anymore. You are erasing and updating that big public whiteboard that React is watching. And that is the signal for React to spring into action.
So, how does all of this theory about kitchens and whiteboards actually turn into concrete action? We've talked a lot. Now it's time to stop talking and actually start building something.
Good. Now we're building something useful. This is that moment. This is where we turn all these abstract ideas into a real running project right on your computer. And you're going to see just how surprisingly simple it is with modern tools.
So assuming you have Node.js and NPM installed, creating a modern React project is as simple as running a few commands in your terminal. We're going to use a super popular tool called Vite to do this. You can think of Vite as like a turbo-powered, pre-built kitchen that just sets everything up for us automatically.
Let's just quickly walk through these commands. First, you'll run npm create vite at latest. That just scaffolds out a new project folder for you. Simple. Second, you have to move into that folder with cd. Next, you run npm install, and that tells npm to read that package.json shopping list and go download everything you need. And finally, npm run dev. That starts up a live development server so you can see your app right in your browser. It's that easy.
And just like that, you have a fully functional, professional-grade development environment up and running. You haven't just learned a few random commands, you've built the entire kitchen. The tools are ready, the oven is hot, the ingredients are all stocked. The only question left is, what are you going to cook first?